Hello friends, welcome to the learning platform Claim IAS. Today in this video, I am going to discuss PSIR syllabus briefly, and we will also discuss what is important from exam point of view and what is not so important from exam point of view. So let us understand the syllabus first. So political science and international relations consist of two papers, paper 1 and paper 2, and each paper consists of two parts, or you can also call it as section. So section 1 or section A or section B. And after completion of this, so let us have a look towards the weightage of syllabus. So the PSIR paper 1 consists of highest weightage as per 2013 to 2023 trends and are high in Western ideologies, Western political thoughts, or Indian political thoughts, or Western ideologies. So these three has highest weightage in paper 1, if you see. And next we move to the paper 1 part A. In this political theories, meaning is not that important. Approaches is important. And theories of state here, liberal, neoliberal, this is very important, and Marxist. So be careful from these two. This every time this questions goes on coming. And justice, uh, Rawls' theory of justice, very important. And equality, relationship between freedom and equality, very, very important. And affirmative actions. So from this, Rawls theory, neoliberal, Marxist, as you can see here, and affirmative actions. These are very, very important. And let's move to the next slide. Here, rights. Here you have to know about the theories, concept of human rights. Different more here in democracy, not too important. A few questions comes from classical theories or the contemporaries. In political ideologies, Marxism, very important. Liberalism, fascism, Gandhism. These are very, very important. Questions goes on repeating from here. And next we move on to the Indian political thoughts. Here you have to look at not that important. Questions don't come from here, but Western ideologies. It is very important. Why it is important, friends? Because here if you focus, you can gain more marks in ethics paper 4 also because you can quote the thinker's ideology, so it plays a vital role and it is quite relevant in paper 4 also. Next, we move on to the next paper, paper 1, part B. It is very important as per uh, polity mains. So why? Because if you see the syllabus, political strategies of Indian freedom struggle, it is important. And non-cooperation movement, if you see civil disobedience movement. So this all has some relevant in modern history also, as well as in post-independence history and some part of polity also. And the next one is perspective on Indian national movement. It is important from modern history too, and even in political science also. Questions goes on repeating from here. Making of Indian constitutions, it can be helpful in polity as well as modern history, but not relevant from UPSC perspective in political science and international relations. Now, friends, this slide is very important. Why? Because here 70%, if you look at this syllabus, 70% of this syllabus can be covered in polity also. Why? Because salient features of Indian constitutions, fundamental rights, judicial review, preamble directive principles, parliamentary systems, amendments, these are all part of polity mains. Means 70% of polity mains can be covered from here. And principal organs of Union government, executive, envisaged role and actual working of legislatures and Supreme Court. This is not too important from PSI perspective, but it is very important in quality means. Now, friends, principal organs of state government. This is also very important as per quality perspective, mains perspective. So you have a look towards the role of executive and the legislature. So it is important from polity means perspective. So if you look at the next slide, statutory institutions, commissions, election commissions, uh, auditor generals, finance commissions, union public service commissions, these are all part of polity. So once you have completed this, it will be very useful in polity as well as it will be useful in PSIR also. So federalism, nothing to do with PSIR. Few questions comes from here. So once you do revision properly, will be helpful for you in polity mains and planning and economic development. Few questions comes from here, but not that important. So please look at liberalizations, green revolutions, economic reforms. These are very important from polity as well as from political science perspective. So friends, now if you look at the next slide, party system, national and regional political parties are ideological and social basis of parties, means the types of parties, the pressure groups, or the socio-economic profile of legislator. These are all plays a vital role in the polity means. So social movements, if you see civil liberties or the women's movement, environmentalist movement. So these are all part of means almost if you see paper one, part B, it covers 65% to 70% of this syllabus. 70% of this syllabus you can cover directly from this. So now let us have look on paper 2. So if we see paper 2 part A, that is comparative political analysis and international politics. Here the first one is comparative politics. It is not that important because the questions, if we see the trend of UPSC PSIR, the questions are few from this comparative politics. And the second one is state in comparative perspective. Here the capitalist and socialist economic, these are very important. And the advanced industrials and developing societies, few questions have already been come from here. And if you see the third one, politics of representations and participations, political parties, pressure groups, and social movements, industrial and developing societies, not that important from PSI perspective. Here, globalization's response from developed and developing societies important. It is little important, not that important. And approaches to the study of international relations, very important, man. From here, realist, Marxist questions goes on coming. And if we see key concept of international relations, national interest, very important. Security and power, balance of power, deterrence, very important. From here, you just mark it. It's very important. Questions goes on coming here, from here. And if we look at the seventh one, changing international political order. From here, it's not that important. If you see nuclear threat, arms race, and Cold War, it's not that important. But if you want to revise, you just revise once. So now if you look at aligned moment, it is little important like aims and achievements. If you want to revise, you can just revise this. And if you see the C1, collapse of Soviet Union, unipolarity and American hegemony, not that important. Questions don't come from here. And if we look at the next one, so friends, evolution of international economic, this is also very important. And if you see from Bretton Woods to WTO, socialist economic and the CMEA, the Council for Mutual Economic Assistance, and the Third World War demand for new international economic order, like globalizations for world economy. These are very important and it goes on coming in the current. So please have a look towards that. And the ninth one, that is United Nations. So it is also very important. Some questions goes on coming from here. Now, regionalizations of world politics. Here you have to know about EU, that is European Union, and Asian Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and APEC, that is Asian Pacific Economic Cooperations, and the SARC. Because see, friends, SARC goes on coming in news like our external affair ministers S. Jaishankar. He have told that SARC is nothing but a jammed vehicle. So some few questions goes on coming, and so when you are reading the current affairs, so notice the point that our external affair minister says, or any where you can get from the news. So have a look towards that. And the next one is North American Free Trade Agreements from here also. So regionalizations of world politics, the most important questions goes on coming from here. At any cost, the question will come from here. So please have a look towards that. And 11th, contemporary global concern. Here, terrorism, nuclear proliferations, and human rights, environment, gender, justice. Questions goes on coming from here. So let us have a look towards paper 2, part B, that is India and the world. Here, Indian foreign policy, it is important, and Indian contribution to non-aligned movement, it is also very important. India and South Asia. Here you have to look towards Indian look east policy, very important. Questions comes from here. And impediments to regional cooperations like river water disputes, illegal cross-border migrations. This also you can use in internal security also. So water disputes, it's very important. And India and the global south, relations with Africa and Latin America, leadership role in demand of NIEO and WTO negotiations. It's very important. So have a look towards that. So now if you see friends, India and global center of powers like USA, it's very important. EU, Japan, China, Russia. So mostly you can relate our India. See here, friends, you should not just study. You have to relate our India with different countries like USA, China, and Russia. Their relations means the India and global center of powers is very important from IR perspective. So please have a look towards that. And India and the UN system, it's very important. Demand for permanent seat in Security Council, very important. Seven, that is India